The term gets thrown around carelessly. Chosen one. It sounds dramatic, mystical, even absurd when said out loud. But strip away the Hollywood version, and what you're left with is something far more practical and far more terrifying. You're someone who operates on a different frequency than the people around you. You see patterns where others see chaos. You feel called toward purposes that make no logical sense. You've probably spent years trying to fit into a world that feels fundamentally wrong, like wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. Here's what nobody tells you about being chosen. It doesn't start with a grand revelation or a mystical experience. It starts with discomfort, with not belonging, with every conventional path feeling like a costume that doesn't quite fit. You watch people get excited about things that leave you completely cold. Career milestones that are supposed to matter feel hollow. Relationships that are supposed to fulfill you feel suffocating. And for the longest time, you think something is broken in you. But nothing is broken. You're just picking up signals that others can't detect. Think of it like this. Most people are radios tuned to FM. They're picking up the standard stations, the mainstream frequencies. But you're receiving AM, shortwave, frequencies that most people don't even know exist. You're not malfunctioning. You're just built for a different kind of reception. This is why your childhood probably felt alien. You understood things too quickly or cared about things too deeply. You asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. You saw through social games that everyone else seemed to take seriously. And people responded to this in predictable ways. They told you to stop being so sensitive, to be more realistic, to come back down to earth. What they were really saying was, please stop reminding us that there's something beyond what we've agreed to see. The isolation was brutal, wasn't it? Not the physical kind necessarily, but the deeper kind. The kind where you're surrounded by people, but feel fundamentally alone because nobody speaks your language. You learn to translate yourself, to dumb down your observations, to pretend you cared about things that bored you to tears. You became fluent in a language that wasn't native to you, and the effort of that translation exhausted you in ways you couldn't explain. But here's where it gets interesting. That exhaustion, that feeling of being drained by normal life, it wasn't weakness. It was your system telling you that you're spending energy maintaining a false version of yourself, like running a computer program that requires all your processing power just to appear normal, leaving nothing left for what you're actually meant to do. Now pay attention, because this next part is crucial. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. That's the ego's interpretation, and it will destroy you if you let it take root. What it means is that you've been assigned a different kind of task, not a superior task, a different one. Some people are meant to build within existing structures. Others are meant to maintain what's already been built. But you're meant to see what isn't there yet, to sense what's trying to emerge, to bridge between what is and what could be. This comes with a cost that nobody warns you about. You don't get the comfort of certainty that others have. You don't get to follow a clear path that's already been walked by millions. Your instruction manual is written in a language you have to learn as you go, and half the pages are missing. The people around you will think you're lost. They'll offer you their maps, their directions, their well-meaning advice, and none of it will work because they're navigating a different terrain entirely. You've probably noticed that conventional motivation doesn't work on you. The promises that drive most people, security, status, comfort, they feel empty when you reach for them. It's not that you're above these things. It's that your wiring responds to different fuel. You're not motivated by what you can accumulate. You're pulled by what wants to come through you. That's a completely different operating system. And this is where most chosen ones get stuck. They know they're different. They feel the pull, but they spend decades trying to translate that pull into language the world will accept, trying to make their calling look like a normal career path, trying to make their depth fit into shallow conversations, trying to make their intensity seem casual and manageable. The friction of this creates a special kind of suffering, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet erosion of spending your life as a translator between your truth and the world's expectations. Something is shifting now, though. You're starting to realize that the translation isn't working anymore, that pretending to be normal is becoming physically impossible. Your body is rejecting the performance. Your energy is withdrawing from anything that isn't aligned, and this feels like falling apart, but it's actually the beginning. What comes next isn't what you think. You're not going to suddenly find yourself in a state of permanent bliss, sitting on a mountaintop, radiating wisdom while the world bows at your feet. That's the fantasy version, and it's useless. What actually happens is far more subtle and infinitely more powerful. You begin to stop apologizing for what you see. The observations you used to keep to yourself because they made others uncomfortable, you start sharing them, not aggressively, but without the cushioning you used to wrap them in. And some people will leave. Let them. They were never meant to walk this part of the path with you. Their departure isn't rejection, it's recalibration. Your frequency is changing, and not everyone can match it. Here's something nobody tells you about awakening. It doesn't make life easier, it makes it clearer. And clarity is often harder to hold than confusion, because clarity demands action. When you can see exactly what's not aligned, you can no longer pretend it's fine. When you can feel the truth of a situation, you can no longer hide behind polite lies. This creates a kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with being alone. You can be surrounded by people and feel utterly isolated because you're seeing a layer of reality they're not accessing. Their concerns feel paper thin, their dramas feel scripted, not because you're judging them, but because you've been behind the curtain and you can see how the show is constructed. Going back to being a passive audience member isn't an option anymore. But somewhere in this isolation, something remarkable starts to happen. You begin to find the others, not through searching, but through resonance. Someone says something in passing that contains a depth the rest of the room missed. A book finds its way to you at exactly the moment you needed it. A conversation happens that goes 5 levels deeper than small talk within the first 3 minutes. These aren't coincidences. This is your field recognizing itself in another field. The people who are meant to companion you on this path don't need explanations. They don't need you to justify your intensity or defend your depth. They meet you there naturally because they live there too. And the first time this happens, the first time you have a conversation where you don't have to translate anything, where you can speak your native language, you'll realize just how much energy you've been spending trying to make yourself understandable to people who were never meant to understand this version of you. Now, about that thing you keep sensing just beyond your current understanding, that pull towards something you can't quite name yet. Stop trying to define it before it's ready. Stop trying to turn it into a business plan or a 5-year strategy. What's trying to emerge through you doesn't fit into the structures you currently have. It's going to require new containers, new language, new ways of being that don't exist yet in your world. Your only job right now is to protect the space where it can emerge. That means saying no to things that seem fine but feel wrong. It means disappointing people who expect you to stay who you were. It means sitting with the discomfort of not knowing while everyone around you seems certain about everything. This not knowing isn't ignorance. It's the fertile void where new forms are conceived. You've been treating your sensitivity like a problem to solve. What if it's actually your primary instrument? What if the reason you can't tolerate surface level anything is because you're meant to work at depths most people never access? Your intensity isn't something to manage or medicate into submission. It's the voltage required for the task you came here to do. The exhaustion you've been feeling will start to shift as you stop spending energy on performance. When you're no longer maintaining a false self, suddenly there's fuel available for what's actually yours to do. Not unlimited energy, you're still human, but energy that's aligned, which is a completely different quality than the scattered depletion you've known. What's coming next isn't a destination, it's a deepening, a falling further into your own truth until you reach a bedrock that can't be shaken by external circumstances. Some call this sovereignty, others call it alignment. The word doesn't matter. What matters is that you're being invited into a version of yourself that doesn't need permission or validation from the structures that used to define you. The world doesn't need you to be normal. It has plenty of normal. What it's starving for is people willing to stop performing and start embodying their actual nature. That thing you've been hiding because it's too much, too weird, too intense. That's precisely what's needed. Not from everyone, not for everyone, but for those who are ready to receive it. What you carry is medicine. Stop waiting to be ready. You've been prepared through every moment of feeling like you didn't belong. The real question isn't whether you're capable, it's whether you're finally willing to stop pretending you're anything other than what you are. You've been carrying something that the world told you was a burden. What if it was always meant to be your gift? Not because it makes you special, but because it makes you useful in a way that can't be replicated by someone following a script. The discomfort won't disappear. The sense of not quite fitting will remain, but the meaning of it changes entirely when you stop seeing it as evidence of your brokenness and start recognizing it as evidence of your assignment. You weren't built for comfort. You were built for truth, and truth has sharp edges that cut through the comfortable lies most people use to navigate their days. So here's what happens now. You stop asking permission. You stop waiting for a sign clearer than the one you've been receiving for years. You stop translating yourself into a language that diminishes what you actually see. Not because you're rebelling, but because the cost of continuing to pretend has finally exceeded your capacity to pay it. The path forward isn't hidden. It's just written in a language you're only now learning to read. And every time you choose truth over comfort, alignment over approval, depth over distraction, you're not just changing your own life. You're creating permission for others to stop performing too. This was never about being chosen above others. It was about being chosen for this, for seeing what needs to be seen, for saying what needs to be said, for being what the world didn't know it needed until you stopped hiding it.